Hello and welcome back to the studio on part 2 of my painting Northern Lights, originally by Bob Ross. I put a few little tweaks in of my own, of course, and watch it right to the very end. There's a special guest appearance. I'll drop some clues throughout. Anyway, happy painting, people. So this is how we left part 1, with our Northern Lights being completed, with some lovely reflections of those colours in the snow. Next, I think we need to do something with this foreground area. I want some water and some nice reflections of these lovely colours in the sky. So I've got my palette back and I'm going to just load my brush with some dirty white paint. I'm going to tone it right down for this bit. We don't want it competing with the auroras in the sky. So just try and reproduce that shape, and it doesn't have to be that accurate and it doesn't have to be as bright. Just do the best you can and roughly sketch it out. Now, time to pull this down and make it into a lovely reflection. I've got my nice 1-inch brush and I've dry cleaned it, and between each stroke I give it a wipe, and you want to press firmly and pull down to blur those shapes into reflections. Now I think I played it a bit safe and I stood back and this just wasn't quite bright enough. So start off with a little bit less paint than you think you need for this part, and then you can always go back in and give it a little tweak. So let's add a little bit more of that grubby white paint, maybe a little bit more there as well, and pull it down again. You can do this several times, but like most things, it's best not overdone. And finally, brush across, edge to centre, and lift off with a little flourish at the end. And remember, don't go backwards and forwards over this too much either. It'll get into a bit of a blur. Now, I want to think about putting some trees on the end here, and I need some land to stand them on. So let's scratch out a bit of a design. I'll just use the point of my palette knife, just a sketch. And if I don't like it, well, I can always brush it out again. To make life easy for myself, I'm going to scrape out all this paint that's here. Yes, I know it's a bit of my favourite reflection, but, well, we can't keep everything. Now, some fir trees. Bob calls them happy little trees, and why not? So, mix up the crimson, the lavender colour, and a little touch of the phthalo green. I want a lovely deep forest green colour for this. Not too green though. That looks about right. And I'm going to use my fan brush. Load the brush fully. Top tip here, make sure you give it a little wiggle and draw it through the paint several times to load the brush, especially the corners. I like to mark the centre line of my tree first so I know where it starts and where it ends, and then load your brush again and then hold the brush with an upward angle. These are what we call uppy trees, in other words they've got a bit of a smile to them. I know it's very tricky to see against this dark background, but you'll see them better when I put highlight on them. If you enjoy watching my videos and you want to support my channel a little bit more, you can always like, subscribe and leave a comment. You could even buy me a coffee. There's a link down below. I'll spend the money on some paint. And you can also share this through social media. Thank you. Now for some snowy highlights. I give the brush a little push to get the paint to build up on the tips of the bristles, so that when I come up to my tree and the highlights are coming from the left, it means I only have to touch with the merest bit of pressure. Just offer the brush to the painting and the paint will stick. Don't over highlight your trees. I usually leave about 50-50, half highlighted, half in shadow. Again, it is night time. I'll let the bottom half of this tree get a bit more shadowy. I'll let the paint run out on my brush a little bit more. I can always come back and add a few sparklers. What was that? There's something spooky about this painting. I get the feeling someone's watching me. going to use my palette knife and some of this very, very dark blue colour to create a little snowbank for my fir trees to live on. And I'm just going to touch just gently and let the paint break. That's all those lovely little marks come from. Just dragging the paint across the canvas. I'll take a little bit of shadow going the other direction. And if it gets too bright, I can always add a little bit more of that original dark colour we used to underpaint the mountains. There's that noise again. Sounds like a wolf. Wonder where he can be. Here's my finished painting. But where is he? Here? Here? No, maybe he's here. Do you see the wolf? Let me get my flashlight and see if we can find him. There he is, hiding. But he's actually been there right from the start. You just didn't see him, like the real thing. They're very secretive. So how did my special guest get into the painting? Here's the trick. I actually did a little sticky back plastic outline of a wolf. I put it onto my canvas and then I put some more black gesso over the top. I did my painting as though it wasn't there, so that when you peel it off, it reveals the silhouette. This is one of my top tips for adding details into a painting. I want to add the little tiny bit of a highlight to my wolf, so I've added a tiny little drop of liquid clear to my palette, and with that sort of blue colour we used on the background mountains, I just want to pick out his nose, maybe the top of his head, down his back, and his legs. Just a suggestion of colour, but keep it subdued. Another one of my top tips is to use cotton buds. They make a lovely job of just smoothing things down a little bit, and you can just gently blend things away. I'm going to add a little bit of highlight to this leg, which will push the other back leg to the other side of the wolf's body. Again, it only needs the suggestion of light here. That's it, the final bit of blending, and we're ready for a signature. I'll pop that down here in the corner in the shadows with a little bird on top. Here's my finished painting, Northern Lights, complete with guest, the wolf. If you've enjoyed watching this and you want to learn to paint your own Northern Lights, go back and watch part 1. But in the meantime, here's another one to watch. Smashing. See you soon. Happy painting, people. Oh, and don't forget, like, subscribe, and share this with your friends and family through social media. Thank you.